Hello everyone and welcome to another GTR 24H interview. This time I'm here with Vojta Polesny, the general manager or the team manager of Varga SimRacing. Vojta, I mean, first of all, how are you doing?
Well, I think well last time.
Well, I think your team is doing very well as well. At the moment, they're currently sitting with 3 race wins, 3 poles. Is this form going to continue all the way to the end of the season, or are we maybe going to see a slip up somewhere from you guys?
For the first, I must say the guys are still focused to be on the top spot in each league which participate on, and their performance is absolutely awesome. They are making all the poles in the EWC and in WEC and the other championships, so I'm very satisfied with them, and I believe that guys can win in all races remaining, so especially targeting to Le Mans, and yeah, I'm very happy for that.
Now, you guys have, as you mentioned, you put out an outstanding performance so far, taking out maximum points in every single race. But I almost want to find out the Achilles heel of Varga. I want to know what could potentially scare you. Are there any teams in the LMP2 class that you think, oof, maybe if we make a little mistake, maybe if we mess up, this team could be right there to challenge you for that potential race win?
Good questions, but I think it's not up to me. You can tell to guys. Yeah, I think yes, there is several cars which can make a win when we have some problems or technical issues. So yeah, it's possible. I think it's possible.
Well, with endurance racing, there's always that slim chance. Well, I say slim, it's probably a little bit more than slim that issues can occur, and I think it's happened to everyone, and you guys have done a fantastic job so far of, you know, despite those issues happening, it's kind of like Mercedes in Formula 1. It doesn't matter what happens, like, you serve your pits or whatever, you're still out in the front and you continue to dominate. So, I want to ask, what do you do? What is your kind of role in the team for, you know, the likes of Daniel Wizner, Marcel Cinczyk, and Yuri Toman, and how do you kind of help them to perform to their maximum?
Another hard question. They are like 3 twins, so
okay.
It's a little bit close community,
right,
especially between these 3 guys, and it's important to say, while Daniel is not racing right now, he's quite important part of that team. Yeah. He made such a great work in the testing. He made the basic setup management and any other things, but I'm still waiting when he's showing his talent and make finally great results in the race.
Well, I'm sure they will be coming through soon, and you know, you mentioned that it's a tight-knit community, and you mentioned that they're a little bit like triplets. Does that kind of mean that, you know, they cover for each other and they help each other out, or does it kind of mean 3 times the effort for you to deal with these kids?
I'm not sure. It's especially Marcel and Yuri, they are quite special. They have unbelievable hand skill and I think it's not possible to help each other.
Because I'm quite curious as well as to how it works within endurance, because I've done league racing, but I do it generally with sprint racing. So yes, I've got a teammate, but I'm competing against that teammate. So what's the atmosphere like, especially between Marcel and Yuri, because those are probably the two that are closest in terms of pace? And what is the balance in the team between the competitiveness between them, saying, okay, I'm going to get the faster lap between the two of us in our stint, etc., etc., or is there more of a kind of team cohesion where it's less competing with each other, more about, okay, let's just do the best we can in the race?
I think each of these three guys pushing each other on the top level.
Yeah.
Still, every time, everywhere. But for the first, they are the great friends. So
yeah.
It's all about the track limitations, and nothing to move from track to real life. It's rule number one.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the championship as well. We've spoken a little bit about it, but I want to go into some more depth, because the next round is round 4 of the Endurance Racing World Championship. We're heading to Nürburgring, the longest track on the calendar. How much of a difficulty is this going to pose to yourself as the manager and to the entire team on circuit?
I think with these squads, there is no difficulties. Definitely.
Okay.
I think the guys manage it. Sorry, I forget this word.
No problem. You remind me right now of when I try to do a quiz and I've got a name right on the top of my head. It happens to me like mid-casting as well, and I just can't remember it at times. It happens to the best of us.
They manage themselves. It's the worst.
There we go.
What was the next question?
We were to be honest, I do like it when I prefer it personally when we're able to kind of sit back a bit more and have a conversation and an interview more as friends rather than it being professional. I think it kind of brings out more in terms of personality. So I prefer this, but we were talking about how the drivers would adapt for Nürburgring, longest track on the calendar, and what the approach would be from yourself and from the team.
I think it's not about track adapting, and I think it's all about the car adapting.
Okay.
When you make a great setup, make a great preparation, there is no problem in each of the tracks in the world. So I think nothing special they will do for the Nürburgring race.
And actually, just to go into a little bit more detail on that, you mentioned setup. For a track like the Nürburgring, which is so long, which is the longest circuit in the world from what I'm aware, how do you make a setup for a track like Nürburgring?
I think the first setup will come from the other track experience, so it won't to be prefer on the data from Motec, but I think they will prefer experience from the short Nürburgring track from another championship, and the track scale will be a little bit more difficult than the usual, but I believe they will be ready for that.
Now, the final question that I do want to get into, and this is actually not a question that I've asked anyone else yet, so I'm quite curious as to hear what your answer will be for this. You mentioned that the team was looking forward to that final race at Le Mans. You know, you want to take the win there. It's the only 24-hour race of the season. But I want to approach it from, you know, not the standard, oh, this is a 24-hour race, how do you approach it differently? I want to look at it more as, currently, for all of the 12-hour races, you're at home, we can see you in your sim rig, it's the same for all of the other drivers, but when you go to the 24-hour race, which is going to be at a LAN, you're no longer in the comfort of your home, you no longer, you know, you can't be in the middle of, you know, race engineering, dip to the fridge to grab some food, so you don't quite have that comfort, I want to say. How does this affect the mentality of the drivers when you are in the LAN with all of the other teams surrounding you?
I think it's not important where you're racing. They guys are full focus everywhere, on any place of the world, and I think the team is ready to prepare good comfort for the guys on each workplace. So I think it's a little bit special race.
Yeah.
Especially for fans, but for real professionals, there is no pressure. So yeah. I think it will be the same from I think Denmark. Denmark is the place where will be the race. Same as from home, from neighbor's home, and and the other place from the world.
Okay, final question that I do want to bring up, and still kind of talking about the LAN in Le Mans. Do you find it easier when you're kind of all right there in terms of just communicating between the team, whether it's talking about strategies, whether it's talking about setup changes, whatever the case may be? Is it much easier to do when you're all together at a LAN compared to being online?
I've not experienced from the LAN endurance racing so far,
okay,
but I think so. It will be much easier. I believe in it.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you next time out in Nürburgring, and I look forward to seeing you personally, hopefully, as well, at the LAN for Le Mans, the final race. Thank you very much, Vojta Polesny.
Me too.
Actually, I should mention, because otherwise I might get screamed at, would you like to shout out any sponsors or anyone that has helped Varga SimRacing out in, you know, the last few months or even over the last year?
Yeah, I would say thank you especially for ClearTech and for CNC Data Clip companies, which are supported us for over a year. So I would say big thank you for them.
Well, Vojta, thank you very much again. I'm going to be grabbing you in a few weeks' time, hopefully, to talk about your performance with Deuces Motorsport. But until then, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck for the remainder of the championship.